Shalom, Yasharallah. This your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here lesson, dealing with, you have a lot of our people that's still kind of hung up on, the Bible is the so-called white man's book, the white Jesus and so on and so forth, which we understand according to scriptures, all right, first and foremost, according to prophecy, all right, that this was all going to happen, all right. So in a sense, they're not necessarily wrong, but at the same time, you have to understand that the damn devil that you're dealing with, man, this is how deceptive this damn devil is, all right. But nevertheless, a lot of our people are thinking that, the Bible is the white man's book, it's a lie, so on and so forth, and he's lying about this. And some of our people will catch half of this here truth or half of certain truths that people are pulling out, or people give out half information. The white man, he changed up the Bible, he did this and he did that, so on and so forth. For the most part, the so-called white man didn't change up the Bible. He took out the Apocrypha. He took that out, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, he didn't really change the Bible up. It's still the same thing. Now, what happened is they gave you plantation Christianity, where they changed up the doctrine and the dogma, more or less to say, like Jesus was born on Christmas, you know what I'm saying? And you're supposed to be celebrating Easter, you know what I'm saying? That's not biblical at all. You know what I'm saying? Nowhere in the Bible will tell you that Jesus was born or Yahweh was born on Christmas. All right. But nevertheless, this is what has happened. But our people are confused with that because they lack the knowledge from not reading the scriptures. All right. Scriptures say, blessed is he that readeth. All right. You have to read. And then with all that get understanding. All right. So you have a lot of our people that's just going off of some hand-me-down information, hearsay. They heard this, they heard that. Well, I heard. And sometimes you'll ask a lot of these people, well, where is that in the Bible? Well, I don't know where it said. I heard about it. I know it's in there somewhere. People tell you, well, I know it's in there somewhere. Go to church around Christmas time and ask any of them people, like, why y'all here on church? Well, we celebrating Jesus' birthday. Oh, is that in the Bible? Well, I'm sure it is. Like, well, yeah, that celebration is in the Bible, but it's telling you not to do all of that. Matter of fact, I'm not going to I can get it. Let me see real quick. Where's that? Jeremiah 10? I think it's in Jeremiah chapter 10. This is Jeremiah 10 and 2. Thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathens, all right? And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. They are upright as a palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good. All right. Talking about them setting these damn Christmas trees. All right. They go out to the forest and they cut down a goddamn tree with the axe. They fasten it up, sit it upright. All right. Then they deck it out with silver and gold. Nowadays they set it up with Christmas lights and ornaments. All right. They ain't telling you to celebrate Christmas in the scriptures. It clearly say in verse 2, it says, thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen. All right. And then verse 3 says, the customs of the people are vain. All right. Then they give you the customs of the heathen, i.e. celebrating Christmas. But every year you got, these so-called Christians in these churches going to church on Christmas, thinking this is like when so-called Jesus was born, and they celebrating his birthday, God damn it. I knew this one Edomite chick, you know what I'm saying? What's crazy is my birthday on Christmas Eve, right? I was way back in the world and shit, right? You know what I'm saying? I was dating this Edomite chick, and her grandparents was like, yo, you should come over for your birthday. We always celebrate. For Christmas, we celebrate on Christmas Eve for Jesus' birthday. You know what I'm saying? And these motherfuckers made me a cake, and they had happy birthday to me and happy birthday to Jesus. I'm like, what the fuck is this? First of all, I don't even celebrate my birthday because, being traumatized as a child from, like, everybody celebrating on Christmas, you can't do shit. Well, fuck it, I'm going to just stay home. But nevertheless, and which you shouldn't be, how you say, dwelling on that anyway. It's just another fucking day anyway. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, the fact of the matter, the motherfuckers go out and buy birthday cakes and shit for the Lord, for his birthday. Come on, man. This is what these heathen do, man. All right, come on, man. The Lord, like, if we did know when Yahweh Shah's birthday is, the only honorable gift that you can give him is to serve him. And righteousness and in truth and sincerity, because why? He laid down his life for you. All right. So the only thing you can really give him back that's like kind of like on par or somewhat pleasing, all right, would be that you would serve him. All right. Same with the Most High, that you serve him. And this is love, that we basically we follow the commandments and they're not grievous. All right. And this is the conclusion of the whole matter. Uh, 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 Fear the Most High and keep His commandments. All right. That's the only real gift that you can give, the Most High and His Son. All right. But going back over to where we were going to start it in the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. All right. Because, going into this was all prophesied that we would be living in this here time frame right now, dealing with the so-called white man setting up his religion. And you have this so-called this white man named Jesus that they hold up as the Lord. All right. And everybody looking at this. But then you have some people scratching their head. You got a lot of our people who either, a lot of our men, that's why they don't go to church, because they know something wrong with that. They don't know what, but they know something wrong with that shit. Right. But then you have some of our people who are so-called woke or so-called conscious. They'll start, well, that's the white man shit and so on and so forth, And some of these people will be going into Kemet and shit to be like, well, these motherfuckers stole the shit that they had too. So how the fuck you gonna go, oh, these motherfuckers stole some shit. We don't want to deal with the white man shit, but you want to go to some African people shit who stole their shit too. Come on now. Think about it. You know what I'm saying? But that's how our people, they're lost for, our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, all right? This is the true knowledge. This is why it's important for the men of the Lord, who are the prophets, to go into and break down these prophecies that, that explain all the things that, first of all, explain where we are today and how we got there, all right? And the conditions we would be going through to be able to get to the point where we was at. This is why we have to be woken back up. This is why Ezekiel 37 makes sense, why we got to go from the dry bones into being a whole being again, because in the process, they gave us all of this bullshit, all right? They took away all our knowledge, our customs and things like that, man. So we had to be brought back. A part of that bringing us back is what? Going into these scriptures, breaking down these prophecies to break down these his strongholds and these wicked imaginations. All right. So this is Job 9 and 24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? All right. So it says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right. Now we're gonna let me grab that real quick first. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. First Maccabees chapter 1 and 1. And it happened. What happened? This is when the earth is being given into the hand of the wicked. All right. It says Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who the world calls Alexander the Great or Alexander the Greek, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, the king of the Persians and the Medes, and reigned in his stead first over Greece. And he made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, and so much that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries, nations, kings, who became tributaries unto him. After these things he fell sick and perceived he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years, then he died, and his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death they all put crowns upon themselves, so that their sons after them many years, and evils was multiplied in the earth. All right, so this is the beginning half of when the earth was given into the hand of the wicked, all right? This is when they first came out to start making their first conquest. Ultimately, they was going to make a second one, like Columbus and them after the Dark Ages, the Renaissance era. But this was the first time they started doing this, right? In this here fashion, all right? But nevertheless, this is where we were reading about the earth was given into the hand of the wicked, all right? Let me read verse 9 again. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, so that their sons after them many years, and evils was multiplied in the earth. All right, so this is the earth being given into the hands of the wicked. Now, let me go down to verse 41, all right, to show forth of how, well, let me go back. Job 9 and 24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, all right, and we just read that account, right? It says, he covereth the face of the judges thereof, if not, where and who is he? All right, so the question being asked is like, yo, if the wicked didn't do this, who is the wicked? You know what I'm saying? First of all, going into that, which we're going to go into, he covered the face of the judges. He whitewashed all these images. Now, who are these images looking like? The so-called white man didn't paint all these images into just different nationalities of people. You know what I'm saying? Some so-called Jesus is so-called Mexican. Some of them is Arab. Some of them is Chinese. Some of them is so-called black. And they all so-called white people. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But that's what the fuck he did. It's called iconoclasm or whitewashing. You can go on Google and look up Russian icons, all right? You can go to images and you can look through, basically it's a book called The Russian Icons, but you can go on Google and image search this, and you'll see a lot of the icons before, after, and during them being whitewashed, all right? All the saints, all the prophets, all the men of the Lord, all the people in the Bible, all the Israelites in the Bible were all men of color. All right, they, especially in those times, it was all dark skinned men. All right, but now when you look at all these paintings now, they all been whitewashed. They all look like so-called white people. All right, just like that famous picture of the Virgin Mary and the child. All right, this image is actually, there's actually a black image of that, which they call the Black Madonna, a so-called black woman and a so-called black child. All right, all over the whole world except for over here in America do they have that image. The Pope himself bow down to a so-called black woman and a so-called black child. All right, only over here do they got the white image like that. Right now, and then they'll also tell you that, you know, oh, they got this from Isis, Horus, and Set or whatever, and well, really, they got that shit from Nimrod and Semiramis and Tammuz. All right. But nevertheless, you know, just going into these images, all right, you can still see that how they whitewash these images. All right. So, but it says, if not where and who is he? You know, showing forth who actually did this. Who is the wicked? The wicked is the so-called white man. Alexander the Greek is the so-called white man. These are the people we reading about who did this shit. All right. It says he covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not where and who is he? So let's go back to First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 41. It says, moreover, King Antiochus, or Antiochus, however you want to pronounce it, which was one of the four, or actually one of the five, but went down to four, that reigned after Alexander the Greek, right? So it says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. So one world order, basically a one world government, and everyone should leave his laws, you know, have your own sovereignty, your own laws, ways you deal or whatever, whatnot. You got to leave your customs. And everyone should leave his law, so all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. So even the Israelites left the law, statutes, commandments, some of them, and followed after this here religion that was being set up by Antiochus. All right. It says, yea, many, verse 5, for the king has sent letters by messengers into Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and they should profane the Sabbath and the festival days. So basically leave from the law, statutes, commandments, and basically follow after his blasphemous religion. All right. It says, verse 46, and pollute the sanctuary and the holy people. This is one of the reasons why they wanted to do it, to pollute the holy people. All right. It says, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. Sound like your modern day church today. You know, you go to the so-called black people church, man. You know, at the church on Sunday, you more than likely, you know, going to be eating a pork product at the church on Sunday, you know. It says, verse 48, that they should leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable and with all manner of uncleanliness and profanation, to the end that they might forget the laws and change all the ordinance. All right. So this is the reason they set it up, so that the children, you know, Hitler said this, you know, you want to brainwash the nation, start with the children. If you corrupt the children are going to grow up and they're going to be corrupted already, and they'll teach the next society, you know, how to go on and so forth. Just like they're doing here today in Babylon. They're going in. This is why they're teaching these children about homosexuality and how to have safe anal sex in third grade and shit. All right. Because why? When this generation gets older, they go into the workforce. These are going to be your new politicians, your new police officers, your new judges, your new councilmen, your new TV directors, and all these different people. They're going to be raised up as children doing this profane bullshit. All right. So what do you think their outcome is going to be? And what do you think they're going to be pushing off? All right. All this profane shit, you know. It says, let me just jump down a little bit. I'm going to read from 56. And when they had rent in pieces the book of the law, which they found, and burnt them with fire. So they was going through and finding the scriptures. They was ripping them up and burning them with fire. All right. And whosoever was found with any of the book of the testament, or if any committed to the laws, the king's commandment was that he should be put to death, that they should be put to death. All right. So he was going to be put to death for following after these laws, statutes, commandments, or reading the scriptures. And whosoever was found with any of the book of the testament, or if it was committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should be put to death. Thus did they by the authority unto the Israelites every month, to as many as were found in the city. Now, the 5 and 25th day of the month, they did sacrifice unto the idol altar, which was set up upon the altar of the Most High. At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised, and hanged the infants about their necks, and rifled their houses, and slew them that had circumcised them. Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and conformed and confirmed in themselves not to eat any of the unclean things, wherefore they rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, that they might not profane the holy covenant. So they died, and there was very great wrath upon Israel. So when these wicked people, these Edomites, got in rulership, all right, they took away from us our law, statutes, commandments, changed up our religion, all right, made us forget about this, took the Bible, ripped it all up, burnt it all up, and put us to death if we was keeping the commandments or if we was teaching about the laws, all right? So as you see here, the Edomites, the so-called white man, came, took over, and now they're getting rid of so-called, for the lack of a better term, so-called our religion, all right, and confusing us so that our children would be tainted from birth, and they would be raised up, and then they would have kids and continue the cycle, you know? So this is First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 48, going back to Job 9 and 24, where it says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the face of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? All right. Now, this is First Maccabees 3 and 48 to continue on what we was just reading in First Maccabees chapter 1 from verse 41 on down. First Maccabees 3 and 48, it says, and laid open the book of the law, which is the Bible, wherein the heathen, all right, these Edomites, had sought to paint the likeness of their images. All right. Going back to Job 9 and 24, he covered the faces of the judges, and also the Russian icons, as I was telling you about, them whitewashing these images according to iconoclasm, all right? Or you go back to Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo, you know, talk about the Renaissance, the rebirth era, all right? This is when they was covering up all the images and whitewashing all the images, you know? But nevertheless, let me continue on from there to Psalm 79 and verse 1. It says, a psalm of Asaph, O Most High, the heathen are coming to thy inheritance. Thy holy temple have they defiled. They have laid Jerusalem on heaps. So the people that's so-called in charge of religion today, all right, these aren't the people of the Most High. This is basically the devil. The devil has hijacked so-called religion, all right, and is masquerading and causing people to go astray with these goddamn religions, all right? But what? You know, this is all according to prophecy. This is all, like, if you would open up your Bible and read these things and have understanding of what these prophecies was telling you about, you will understand that those people in the churches are full of wickedness, you know? You know, sometimes people ask you, oh, you're a Christian? Yeah, not a modern day Christian. I don't go to church. I don't believe in religion. I don't believe in none of that. But I believe in the Bible and I believe in the Most High, you know? But then they're like, oh, well, how come you don't believe in this? Like, well, if you read your Bible, you wouldn't go to church either, because they specifically warned you in the scriptures that this would happen. And you would be going into these goddamn temples worshiping that which you know not. All right? But nevertheless, continuing on, we're going to go to... matter of fact, I'll close out here in Ezekiel. It's Ezekiel 36. I'm going to start at verse 1. Also, thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh power, because the enemy, all right, has said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are in our possession. So who's in control of the so-called religious buildings and religious stuff, the real religious stuff? All right, it's the heathen, the wicked, the enemy. All right, it's not the righteous people. The men of the Lord are not in control of the so-called temples and church and the godly religious things. All right, you ain't gonna see them inside these damn churches. You know, this is crazy, because you got all these people in these churches thinking they're gonna go find God in there, but they would only open up their scriptures with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. They would realize they're in the goddamn harlot house sitting amongst the damn devil. All right, feeding them this bullshit. You know, it says verse 2 again. Thus saith Yahweh power, because the enemy has said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are in our possession. Therefore prophesy and say, thus saith Yahweh power, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that you might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen. All right, who make us all docile and stuff? These goddamn churches. So you go in there and destroy your ass, make you pay all these tithes and stuff, and they don't ever give you nothing to heal you up, build you up, or nothing like that. You know, they just give you all these things to break you down and destroy you, you know? But continuing on, it says, verse 3, therefore prophesy and say, thus saith Yahweh power, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that ye might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and you are taken up in the lips of talkers as an infamy of the people. All right, yeah, they over here talking shit about us. Oh, they ain't the people of God. Look at all the images of God are all white. The angels are white, and so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. Y'all can't be the children of God. Y'all just some damn devils, you know? Y'all got a skin curse. Y'all got the curse of Cain, you know? Or however they say, curse of Canaan, you know? They come up with all these little bullshit situations, you know? But none of these things are according to prophecy, according to the scriptures, you know? All the things that they have is basically, it's just he say, she say, or if they say it enough times, you believe it's true. But that's not necessarily true. Like, Jesus' birthday is not, who the world calls Jesus, birthday ain't on Christmas, and that's not written in the scriptures like that. So I don't know why these same people are celebrating Christmas in the churches, you know? But nevertheless, verse 4 says, therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh power. Thus saith Yahweh power to the mountains and to the hills and to the rivers, to the valleys, to the desolate waters and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about. So again, the children of God right now are not in their stead. Who's in their stead right now? The heathen, the wicked, the Edomites, all right? And we're going to get it right here. Verse 5. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. All right, now Idumea is a Greek way of saying Edom. All right, it's the same thing as saying Edom or Edomites. All right, but nevertheless, it says that let me read that again. It says, therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, because they was a part of taking us down too. But the main one was, and against all Idumea, all of the Edomites, all right, which have appointed my land unto their possession. So who's in the land of Israel right now? The Edomites. All right, that's the damn wicked, the devils. All right. It says, I have spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. All right. And so, again, like I was saying, this has all been prophesied in the scriptures that all these things will happen. But you still have a massive amount of our people that's going to these churches, you know, reading the book of Psalms here and there, passing tithes, hearing about prosperity and so on and so forth. But nevertheless, they never come into the full understanding of what they actually reading, you know, because if they was actually going through the scriptures and going based upon precept, and they actually had the real understanding, these people will walk up out of those churches, because even in the scriptures it tell you that that's wickedness is going on inside them harlot houses, man. All right, they would tell you that so-called white man, yeah, they was gonna paint their own pictures like that. That's not what the Lord looked like. You know, people wouldn't be arguing with us like color don't matter, this and that. Well, if you read this in the scriptures and you say you believe in the Bible will tell you that they was gonna whitewash these images and paint over them and change up what they would look like. That's why it's important, because these are all the prophecies that said what happened. This is how we know who we are according to the scriptures. This is how we know who the enemy is. This is how we know who all the other nations are, because they fit the prophecies, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong and shalom.